All right, hello everyone. I'm back again for another video, and I went to do some research for what I had said earlier about a friend of mine who is a Jehovah's Witness, and how they were told that they can actually go ahead and start communicating again with those who are disfellowshipped or are don't attend the meetings or anything anymore. So I went on YouTube. I didn't find an article. I saw questions, but nothing specific as of yet. And so, but I did come across one YouTube channel. It's called Stop the Mandate Shunning. And they're talking about a case out of Norway. And this particular case, which caught my interest because it talked about them receiving state funding. So witnesses get donations from their members, and then we're supposed to not have anything to do with government or state or anything. So why is it they're getting state funding? So I'm definitely, if anyone else knows about Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization itself getting funding from the government, um, I just find that odd. I know as churches and things like that, that you get tax exemptions, but why would the organization need funding? And then also within that case, I was reading some of the other comments, and these lawyers, um, Jehovah's Witnesses lawyers, have not been truthful about how they handle their members. And so the state said that, Norway said that you can go ahead and, continue with your beliefs and how you want to go about treating your members. But if you do, you will lose state funding. So they aren't telling the truth on how they do the shunning and the disfellowshipping and the new word removed, because they want to keep the money coming in. And I found that extremely odd and disturbing all at once, because they're playing with people's lives and emotional state and their families, and they're just worried about the dollar bill. They're just worried about the dollar bill. But again, the YouTube channel is called Stop the Mandate Shunning, and they're going over a case that's out of Norway, about what the Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization, is going through, um, so they can keep funding, because they um, evidently there's been rulings that they can't treat people the way they have been, that they had to define what shunning is and how they go about it, and then the courts over there have made them change how they treat their members, all the way down to children and up to adults. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm going to follow that, because I found that very odd that they sought state funding. They sought taxpayers' money. Um, they were already receiving free money voluntarily, so they needed to dip into another, you know, pocketbook and get money from the state. Yeah. Also, I was reading some of the other comments, um, from other people, and there's one that stuck out with me about one particular person who'd been there, been a witness for, decades. I won't say their name, but they're within the comments. Um, and so they were talking about, which something I hadn't thought about, that once you are approached and you decide to become a Jehovah's Witness and you're a witness, you don't even know the um, what you basically have signed yourself up to. Because in other religions, if you walk away, you just walk away. If you convert, you convert. But with the witnesses, it's a whole different story. You could lose your family over not wanting to be a part of that religion anymore. And I don't think people are privy to it, that you can completely lose your family because now you're deemed, an apostate, or now you're deemed um, evil. So that is not even the level of it. You might, because I know growing up, I know as a child, I don't think I paid too much attention to that. We traveled a lot too, so we're constantly changing congregations. So I know for a fact I didn't pay too much attention to the dynamics of shunning and the dynamics of disfellowshipping. It probably wasn't until I became a teenager, maybe in my 20s, that I understood, someone might say, oh, we can't talk to them because of their disfellowshipped or whatever. Paid attention to it then, and that's when the whole decide, well, do I want to get baptized? If I get baptized, I might do something and I get disfellowship, and I don't want that to happen, and then I'll be shunned and lose all my friends. But um, the whole dynamic of how that works is not discussed, especially, at least I'm pretty sure, when people had Bible studies with people, they didn't tell them, well, if you change your mind and don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore, you could lose everybody that you know and love. That's definitely not said or discussed once you become a witness. What is expected of you as far as who you associate with and who you dealt with. There was another comment by a lady that I hadn't thought of, and she said that you could be silently shunned. And I know for sure I was silently shunned. I was actually silently shunned by a family member, which I think I mentioned in the previous video. And I didn't know that there was such a thing as silently being shunned, because they might not have they might not have agreed with your choices in life. You hadn't committed a sin. You hadn't, done something wrong. They just felt you should have been living your life differently. And yeah, but yeah, silently shunned. And I know for sure I did experience that. I ended up having a conversation with my aunt. She I guess I'm not gonna. Some of the things she said didn't make any sense. Like, legitly didn't make. It was just her In the end, it was legitly her personal opinion on how things should be. And yeah, it just didn't make sense. But I didn't even know that there was such thing as silently being shunned, and that it does go as far as, like, people will know, like the elders will know, and they'll figure it out. And they said sometimes it's just a test to test your loyalty, and I think that's just crazy. Why would you cause someone emotional distress to see what they would do? That's like playing, to me, it's like playing games. So I didn't even know that existed either. And but that YouTube channel that I mentioned earlier, it is a really good one. It was very informative, and I will be following along, and I want to track this case that's in Norway, because they're still in court, so that they can keep funding. Like, why would they want funding? I don't understand. But I'll track that some more. And I also did not, which I think I mentioned earlier, I have not found an article as of yet that states that they can speak to disfellowship members, but my friend did tell me that. I believe her. I just haven't found an article so I can share it. And so yeah, and she's in Texas. So that's all I want to say with this current video, and I'll be back with another one. And thank you for listening, and I'll talk with you soon.